Okay, good morning. This week we are back on the farm, and specifically we are on the bio unit. Now, you could call me a fully accredited Fencer fitter after that we have done this job, because we have bought the windows and the doors ourselves from the manufacturer, and with the little bit of help of Wayne I've had, we have fitted them all ourselves. Let's go and have a look. Okay, so last week we showed you a little sneak peek of fitting the windows. Now, we thought we'd go a bit more into detail with that this week. A little bit similar to the principles that we've done when we built the house. So looking back at some of the videos where we start talking about cavities, closures and bits and bobs, it's exactly the same. Albeit this time, we're doing it all ourselves. We had Window Wayne do the house. This, Wayne has bought all the gear and me and Wayne are going to fit them today. So before we start, we've got to do the cavity closures. Now, this is slightly different here than the house. If you remember when we did the house, we had the problem with the cavity itself and the thickness and the building regs and the insulation, the taping of the joints and everything that went on. So the cavity wall plus insulation is a tongue and groove material, and basically it's designed to fit against the blockwork nicely, tight, held up, and there'll be a 10mm air gap between the outer skin of brickwork. The normal cavity wall stuff, which is non-tongue and groove, is designed to have a 50mm air gap. So I've ordered the cavity wall plus, and what we've had delivered is standard cavity wall, and that's where it's caused us an issue, because basically the building regs chap, the building regs guy, when he come out and had a look, he basically said you haven't got enough air gap in the cavity. So that was a few issues that we had. This time what we've done, we've built this with a bigger cavity. So this has got a 125mm cavity, which is the gap therefore from the inside of the blockwork to the inside face of the outer skin of brick. That is filled with the same 90mm thick insulation that's got this tongue and groove on, and that's all pulled back with these clips on the brick ties that are holding them two walls together. Now the idea is that you've got to maintain this 25mm air gap here. That goes all the way around the entire building. So that air gap there is to allow a little bit of airflow and stop any condensation or any damp getting through and coming through the insulation, effectively causing the problem that we potentially could have had on the house, which is why then Clayton had to be a professional tanker and do all the inside walls with a tanking slurry. So this time we don't need to do that. We've got a bigger cavity, so we've got the right gap, albeit, like I said before, this is not subject to building regs. So before we can fit these doors now, we've got to close this cavity off, because what we don't want is all of that cold air being able to come in to the building, or we don't want any chance of any water ingress or damp coming through either. So we've got a cavity closure now. We cut them, we sit them on there, and then the door effectively comes in, sits 35mm back from the outer face, what would meet regs, and then that is the face of the door, and the door sits about there. So that holds the cavity closure in. At the same time, we've stopped all of that damp or cold air being able to get into the building, and then on the inside we can then dab and plasterboard and plaster that to a finish to the door. Have a look. So Rich at Travis has sorted us out with the cavity closures. Now these are a standard product. They come in 2.4 metre lengths, and basically each one of these lines or to suit whatever size cavity you put in. So if we put a 150 cavity in, that is 150mm, and these just sit straight on. We haven't, we put a 125 in, so that's where this line here, we effectively cut that insulation off there. We take that off. That then is the right thickness to sit within the cavity, and that's where we push these on, temporarily nail them on until we come to fit the windows or the doors, like this. These are just cut to length. Obviously we've already took the insulation off the back. We sit that in. That insulation on the back of here is effectively butted up to the back side of that insulation that's within the cavity wall. We don't need one on the top because that's got the insulated catnick on. So that's that lintel that's basically holding all the weight above, and at the same time that's insulated. It slopes on the top, so all the water or any water coming down the cavity comes off down the front face, and then some weak vents on the front. That water can then disperse out of the building. Then we finish off by just putting the last of the insulation on here up to the height of this, and here's one I made earlier. That then sits on here we don't need to fix that necessarily because that is just going to sit there. The window will then come in, we'll seal the window all the way round when we fit it to this. So that's airtight effectively there, and that is pushing down on that lintel, pushing down on that stone sill, and that's how the windows are fitted. We'll show that in a minute. Okay, so now onto the windows themselves. Now, we've done something different down here. We've gone for UPVC windows. On the house, if you remember, we went for the black aluminium frames. They're a lot more modern, sleek in design. That was what we wanted for the house, and that was what Edwina picked. For down here, we're not as fussy because, like I say, it's not a house at the end of the day. So we went for flush casement, and we had them pre-glazed. Now, the reason that we had them pre-glazed is because we wanted the crittle bar, this bar here, to match what we've got up on the house. So it's easier for them to do that in the factory because they can do all these miters and everything here, and that's all ready to go. So it makes it easier for us to fit, albeit they are slightly heavier to fit. View value wise, they're probably slightly better, but there's a massive, massive difference in cost. Now, if we take this window here, we've got a similar size window up on the house. I think that was £5 or £6, maybe £650 for that window, whereas this window here is more like £250. So there's a massive difference there in cost, which for what we're using this for in terms of a bio unit and office space, we don't really need anything more than what we've got. So that's how they come. This is how we fit them. So, idea of the silicone is we're putting the sill on now, so we fit the sill before we fit the window. So this is upside down at the minute, this is the outside because that's the flush casement. In there you can just see we've got the two drain holes, so any water coming that gets inside that casement ultimately is going to come out of that drain hole. And then remember we're upside down, but that sill then clips on there like that. And then effectively we'll hit that sill, which is a stub sill, and hits and runs off and then down. We'll show it when it's upside down in a minute. Basically, that's the right way up now. The stub sill, we don't need a big sill because we've got the stone sills themselves. So we want the stub sill so it looks right, and at the same time, we don't need, like the sills themselves, the plastic sills, they come over length. The idea being is that you can put your little horn on either side. Well, we don't need that because we've got stone sills, and the way in which we've done it, we want it to look exactly the same as the house. So what we've done then is we've put them on, they get screwed on with that silicone, and then ultimately now all we've got to do is just cut that off flush, and then that fits in. Okay, so onto the doors. The doors that we've had are different though. The doors are not UPVC, they are a composite door. Now the difference is UPVC still got a good U value rating, they're still fairly strong, but they're not as strong and as well built as a composite door. The difference being the UPVC door itself, the panel is probably 30mm thick and it's sort of hollow in the middle. This is a lot thicker of a door and is fully filled with insulation, so it makes it a far stronger door. I asked Wayne how much stronger. Wayne said instead of 1 copper battering this to get in to steal all your drugs, it's now going to be 3 coppers. So, because each one will get worn out, the third one will take the glory. So that's the difference between the doors. There is a cost difference again. UPVC would probably be £500 or £600 a door cheaper on this, but my view is that you're using the door every single day of the week. It's getting open, closed, banged, left, right and centre, and you're better off having a far stronger, better door. So in terms of fitting, same sort of process as the windows really. We put a piece of damp course across the top of the brick at the bottom of the door threshold. Then once that is in, we put the sill sat on there. We've got a knock-on strip that we put on the side here first. This knock-on strip is basically to give you a little bit more projection on the hinge side of the door, so when you come to plaster, your plasterboard and plaster can go on without coming too close to the hinge, and the hinge then binding on the plasterboard wall behind. So that's why it's almost like a packer, a spacer, basically, in the same colour. We've again gone the same as the windows, we've gone black on black. So we're black on the outside, you can have them on white on the inside, I just prefer them black all round. Same critical effect then as the rest of the place and the house. Let's get this one fitted.
Around the door and frame, there's a load of packers still in there.
Okay, so that is the door, well, I suppose temporary fix for the minute. When the door comes within its frame from the factory when it's built, it's packed up on the inside, so everything is held exactly where it wants to be. So when we come to fit it, we get it in there exactly where we want it in terms of the measurement from the front face of the brick. We get it all plumbed up, levelled up, exactly true to where it needs to be. We pack that in, then spray that round with expanding foam. We'll let that grip, because we've got to open the door to be able to mechanically fix into the brickwork. We can't do that in the minute because it's still a little bit loose. So what we'll do is we'll let all that foam go off. Once that's gone off and gone hard, open the door, mechanically fix it. Then all we've got to do then is de-sticker everything, clean, you can polish the windows, and we've got the trickle vents to fit because we aren't having heat recovery in here, we're having the trickle vents. So we've just got that to do and then we are done. See you later. Okay, so that's it for windows and doors. If you do need any work on windows and doors fitting, by all means let us know. I am a fully Fensler certificated person, but it only lasts 10 years, so you'll have to be quick because we're already getting pretty booked up with the amount of work that we've got lined up just off the back of this. But if you like what you've seen, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and we will leave you with a montage of fitting windows and doors and the next room of the house. Boom.
head on, blowing fresh at the door. No limits, all in it, yeah, be ready to soar. Every step that I take, every move that I make, anticipating, no more waiting, elevating the stakes. I'm full stride, eyes open, captivating the scene. True life, my time, liberating my dreams. Every challenge that I'm seeking to meet, I'm overcoming, steady grinding, keep my beat to the street. I keep my mind thinking wise, hoping better to keep. Rising high, go get it with the vision I see. I'm getting clever, yeah. Special deliveries out. Special deliveries out on the way. I'm on that midday hustle and I'm hitting my stride. Clock ticking, never missing, no reason to hide. City passing while I'm moving and I'm taking it in. Hitting every door, crashing and I'm wearing a grin. Through those alleyways, tucking, navigating the wake. Every package is a hustle, I'm wide awake. No slower than proving, making these cakes moving. Through what they take, ooh, what the thrill I create. Demons are playing, no overstand, I'm free in my zone. Drop, hit, pick it up, was full control. Don't mind if I splash while I'm making these waves. Life like a knife, baby, and I'm cutting my way, I'm better.
No, it doesn't. Told you it didn't.